So today I'm going to be sharing with you my language arts picks for my 4 kids who are going into 6th, 7th, 8th, and ninth grade in this upcoming school year. I mix and match a lot of different curriculums. So if you're interested in seeing all the different components that my different kids will be using this year, stick around. Hi friends, if you're new here, my name is Davine and I homeschool 4 kids. Right now they're 11, 12, and 15, but in the upcoming school year, like I said, they're going into 6th, 7th, 8th, and ninth grade. Just a really quick thing here, I'm going to go through the different categories of language arts that I'll be having my kids cover in the upcoming school year. My oldest child, who is going into ninth grade, we are doing something a little bit differently with her next year. So you will see a few of the things that I'm picking for her, but it will not be a full language arts load because she's going to be going to a public school part-time. It's a part-time at school, part-time at home sort of situation. And they will be covering most of her core subjects, and then we do some other things at home, supplemental things, some electives and things at home with her. However, I will be supplementing some things with her on language arts. That being said, I was very careful to not go overboard in what I'm picking for her in the upcoming school year because I do need to see what she's doing at the school before I know what I need to supplement and what I need to work on with her here at home. If you see me looking down, I do have a page of notes here. I do want to make sure I don't miss anything here. And before I get started, I just want to let you know that today's video is a collaboration hosted by myself and Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool. A bunch of other homeschooling, YouTubing moms have joined in this collaboration. There will be a playlist of all of our language arts picks for all our kids. So check out the description box below if you want to see a playlist full of homeschool moms sharing their language arts picks for the upcoming school year. Okay, so I'm gonna get started with my least favorite part of language arts, but one that I think is probably the hardest to teach and also super important, and that is writing. So I'm gonna start with my younger kids and move my way up. So for my boys this upcoming school year, I'm going to be using IEW's Fables, Myths, and Fairy Tale writing lessons. You have seen this before because this is how far we are in this curriculum at this point. I would say I'm 2/3 of the way through our current school year. So we still have about 10, maybe 9 to 10 weeks left in this school year. So I'm hoping I can get this about halfway. And so the plan is to finish this up next year. We are working on more of a 2-day-a-week writing schedule. That's sort of what my boys and I can handle with our schedules. So that means that this will probably last us through the whole year, and I think that'll be great. I think it'll work well if I can dedicate 2 solid days to work with my boys on their writing. So that's what I'm doing with my boys for writing. Now, my upcoming 8th grader, she has been working on EIW this year, and it hasn't been going great for us. So I have been looking around for a writing curriculum for her. She doesn't love long instructional videos. However, I do want her to be taught writing. I don't want to be teaching writing to her specifically. I feel like with my boys, I can do it because there's 2 of them and they are at a lower level, but for her, I want her to have a teacher teaching her. I would love for her to have a teacher marking and correcting her work, but that might be asking too much at this point. So in all this research that I've been doing, I am good friends with Stephanie from Schulte Sweeties, and several months back, she told me what she was doing with her 8th grade daughter. And I looked into it and it looked like a lot of fun. It looked really creative, like it has a lot of creative writing components, which my upcoming 8th grader will excel at. She's very good at creative writing. She doesn't like too much structure, and she's also pretty good at writing. So I thought it might be a good fit for her. So we are going to be doing Clearwater Press. It's called Cover Story with my upcoming 8th grader. And you can check out Stephanie's language arts picks for her 8th grader. I'll link that below since she also mentions that. And you can compare what I'm doing with my 8th grader and what she's doing with her 8th grader. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. I hope she really enjoys it. I hope the videos are not too long for her, or that they are creative and interesting enough for her. I did watch a few sample videos by the teacher, and he seems kind of funny but quirky, but not in a goofy, well, a little goofy, but also in a way that middle schoolers might enjoy, kind of a more sophisticated humor maybe. So I'm hoping that will go well for her. I'm still on the hunt for her 9th grade year. I know I'm looking way ahead, but I like to have things lined up. So I am looking for suggestions. If you have taught a high schooler, tell me all your favorite high school writing curriculums. We do not like EIW. IEW, she does not like IEW, though I have considered having her work on the writing lessons on her own. That has been a consideration, but let me know any other writing programs I should be looking into for high school for someone who doesn't love a lot of explanation, but I also don't want to be the one teaching her. So let me know if you have any ideas. Now for my upcoming 9th grader, I am not picking anything out for her particularly for writing. I'm hoping that the school that she's going to will help her with that. So I'm not doing anything for her at this moment for the upcoming school year. The next category I have here is grammar, and one of the other new curriculums I'll be using next year is for grammar. I'm really excited about it. We do have a lot of grammar programs that we really enjoy. We really enjoy Fix-It Grammar. We really enjoy Easy Grammar. So I would say those are two of our favorite grammar programs. And there's one that I wondered if I had missed the boat on. It looked interesting to me. I really wanted to try it. I really love this company's curriculum. I haven't used any of their language arts curriculum, and I don't know. So a few months back, there was like a collaboration talking all about Guest Hollow curriculum, and a few ladies talked about Big Wolf Grammar. And this is for, I believe it's like 1st grade to 6th grade. And my boys are going to be in 6th and 7th grade. But they were talking about it, and they were talking about how adaptable it is and how many different levels it can cover and how it's just so full of things that you can easily skip, like the simple cutting and pasting and hands-on activities if that's not something you're interested in. And so I decided to go and pick it up for next year since my boys are getting older. I thought they might be too old, but after I watched some videos, I decided, no, I don't think they're too old. I think they'll really enjoy this. So this is the teacher manual. So this is not what it looks like. This is not what the worksheets look like, but this is what I've printed off so far. I'm really excited about trying this out. I think it'll be a fun way to do grammar with my boys, and I'm looking forward to just sitting down and actually teaching them grammar more hands-on, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, this is our main grammar curriculum for my boys, but I will be picking up Fix-It Grammar Book 2 for both of my boys next year. They have been doing book 1. It's been working well. I like that it's pretty independent, so there will be a few days where I can teach this actively, and then there's other days where I can just assign Fix-It Grammar for them. So we'll see if we take 1 or 2 years for the next Fix-It Grammar level since we're doing this grammar. But that is my plan, to pick up book 2 for my boys. Now for my upcoming 8th grader, I've decided that I'm going to pick up book 3 for her. She did book 1 a few years ago. I'm going to skip book 2 because I'm just going to assume that she knows it, and we're just going to skip to book 3. And the reason why I'm going with Fix-It Grammar over Easy Grammar at this time is just how quickly it can be completed. It's just really simple, 1 or 2 pages depending on your pacing. So I decided to go with Fix-It Grammar as her main grammar in the upcoming school year. Now, the writing program she's doing, Cover Story, does have maybe 18 supplemental grammar lessons. So it is not the main focus of the curriculum. So I will have her do those grammar lessons as well. But like I said, Fix It Grammar is fast and easy and it gets the job done. So I'll be picking up book 3 for her. As far as my 9th grader, I may or may not pick a new grammar up for her. She will be finishing off easy grammar, like the grade 4 level. We've been working on that several years on and off. So I'm just having her finish that off right now. So I will see. I'm gonna see what her language arts load is like before I pick up a new grammar for her.
Actually, what I had been thinking about was possibly using Beowulf grammar with her as well next year. So if my 9th grader happens to need grammar, I was going to use Beowulf grammar with her. She loves dogs, so I think that would be a little appealing for her and just give her some different type of grammar to do.
The next category I'm going to talk about is vocabulary. Now, I don't feel like vocabulary is something that we really need to focus a whole lot on because we get so much vocabulary in our reading, we get it in our history lessons, and because we do a very literature-based homeschool, so my kids get a lot of vocabulary. However, I am going to do a little bit of vocabulary with my kids. So my youngest son, who will be in 6th grade, he is currently working on this, Wordly Wise Book 4, and we are doing it very slowly because he has a lot of language arts components. So I should have about half of this left. So I'm just going to schedule this over the rest of the school year. So he's going to be working on that. I'm not going to give my 7th grader anything extra because he has some other things to work on as far as language arts. And then same thing for my upcoming 8th grader. She is currently working on book 8 of Wordly Wise. I think she'll be about 2/3 of the way through this. So I'm going to pick up 9 for her when we get to that point, but she will be doing 8 and then we'll pick up 9 and she'll just continue on with Wordly Wise. I do like how challenging Wordly Wise is, that it offers different ways to think about words. My youngest, he is autistic, so sometimes learning new variations of words or learning that different words have different meanings, it's interesting to him, but it's a little harder for him to grasp. And so Wordly Wise really challenges those thought patterns. It forces you to think of words in different ways. And so he's going to be doing it. My upcoming 8th grader is going to be doing it. And then my 9th grader also will be continuing with Wordly Wise. So she is currently working on book 5. I think she's probably a little over halfway through this. So this will be one of her supplemental language arts activities to be doing. She struggles a lot with vocabulary and words and knowing the different meanings and the different forms of vocabulary. So I think Wordly Wise is just a really great way to have her grow and expand in that, as well as reading comprehension, because they do have reading comprehension passages, and then she's forced to come up with answers that include the vocabulary words that she's been learning. So I think that's going to be a great thing to supplement with her when she's here at home with me. Next, I have spelling. So I only have 2 kids who I have ever used a spelling curriculum for. So my upcoming 6th grader, my youngest, I've never used spelling with him. He's more of a natural speller. He might write something wrong and then I tell him and then he fixes it and then he's fine. And then my middle daughter, also a natural speller. She had spelling when she was back in public school and she always got them all right and she always needed the more advanced list. And so when she started homeschooling, we just didn't bother with any spelling curriculum for her and she spells great. So my upcoming 7th grader, he is working on spelling UC level C, and this is the one that he should be starting in the upcoming school year, which is part 2. And I really think that this will probably last us most of the year. If we started D, I would be very surprised. Probably not. I don't expect to start D. So this will probably last us the whole year. It is basically half of the level, and that's just the pace that he's going at. He's learning and growing in his spelling, but we just go really slowly. And as long as we're progressing and he's not getting super frustrated, we're just going with this. So we have really enjoyed spelling UC, and so we're just going to continue with what is working. And then my other child who uses spelling curriculum is my upcoming 9th grader, and we are just going to do the same thing. She is currently working on spelling UC E, part 1, and she does do a little more often than my other child who's doing spelling UC, but she probably will just be starting this. And like I said, we are only supplementing at home. So I feel like the few things that I have her doing are the ones that she really just needs to focus on. So far that's spelling and vocabulary that she needs to work on, maybe some grammar if I decide to pick that up later. And now for phonics. So you would probably think with 6th grade and up, you probably don't need to use phonics, but I will say that my 7th grader, or my upcoming 7th grader, he is still working on phonics. It's sort of that spelling language things that he's still working on. So we should be getting close to starting Explode the Code 8. So this is the last level of Explode the Code. And so he should be doing this next year. And so that'll be good. And I don't think that will take the whole year. So I do have another phonics workbook that was recommended to me by a friend many years ago. And I was going to use it with my oldest daughter because it was a similar situation. When she got to this level, however, I felt like it was too easy for her. So I kept it just in case this son needs it at some point, maybe after finishing up Explode the Code. And so I do have Evan Moore's Daily Phonics. This is 4 through 6 plus grades. So this is like a remedial phonics program for kids that just need more help with phonics. So it does look very, very simple, but I don't know. I might give it a try with this son if I feel like at that point we can benefit from this. So just hearing sounds sometimes is hard for him. I think he probably should be able to do pretty good at this, but I think it'll help with his spelling and things like that. So I have this as a backup. If I finish Explode the Code 8 and I feel like I want to keep doing some phonics with him, I'm going to pull this off my shelf and do that with him.
So something I forgot to mention, because I don't really consider it to be a core in our language arts, is the good and the beautiful handwriting. My upcoming 8th grader, she will be done these, so she won't be doing any of these handwriting levels. However, my 5th, 6th, and 9th grader will probably continue with the good and beautiful handwriting because they just really enjoy it. It's something fun that kind of breaks up their day. So I'm thinking probably my 5th grader will be on level 5. My 6th grader will be finishing up level 4 and probably moving into level 5. And my 9th grader will be finishing up level 5 and moving into level 6 next school year.
So then reading. Reading is a big part of language arts, especially in our home. So my kids are going to be reading a variety of books. I can't tell you which books they are right now. We'll probably be finishing up some readers that we didn't get to that are maybe from our Book Shark or Sunlight level F, so world, geography, things like that. We will definitely be reading some of those books because we'll be still working on that. We will be going into ancient and medieval history, and so my kids will be reading books that are recommendations from either Sunlight or Book Shark G, which is ancient and medieval history, as well as my upcoming 8th grader. She will be doing some of the Guest Hollow Whirlwind World History suggestions as well. So I'm going to just let her kind of pick between some of their suggestions and some of the Sunlight and Bookshark suggestions. And so we will continue to have a very literature rich homeschool. My kids will continue to read a lot of really great books, and I'm looking very much forward to that. And then finally, I have a book that doesn't really fit in any of the categories that I talked about before that my 2 boys are still going to continue working on just because we didn't finish it this year. So that will be Language Lessons for the Elementary Child. This is volume 2. We started back with volume 1. We probably took a year and a half to do each level, and so we will just continue on with this. And I think that my upcoming 6th grader will be done with this pretty quickly. He will be very close to the end. My 7th grader probably will have at least about maybe 80 lessons left, at least. And so almost half of this book left. And I just put everything in a loop. I'll figure out what their loop is going to look like, and we just loop in all these different components. There's going to be a few things where I will schedule times with them. For example, writing and the Beowulf grammar, I will have certain set times where I sit down and work with them on those. But the rest of these, I just kind of make a loop and they go through a loop doing a few of these each day. So that's how we fit everything into our schedule. And those are what I think are going to be all the language arts components of our upcoming school year. I hope that was helpful and interesting to you to see what we are going to be using in the upcoming school year. You will notice that there is a bit of a trend for us to just continue a few of the things that we're working on. There are a lot of different pieces here, and so it makes sense that we weren't able to complete a lot of the different pieces. And so I really do just like to roll things into the next year. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And some of these things we have been using since the very beginning of our homeschooling. This next year is going to be our 5th year of homeschooling. And some of these different things we have been using since day 1 in our homeschooling. So some of our language arts have been really good, solid picks that we have really enjoyed, whereas others, such as writing, we have struggled a lot with just finding the right fit for each kid each year for writing. So let me know, have you decided on your language arts for the upcoming school year? I would love to hear what your picks are for your kids in their different ages and grades. Definitely let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to check the description to see what all the other homeschooling YouTube moms are using for language arts in the upcoming school year. I will definitely be checking out all those videos. Maybe they'll have a great writing suggestion for me. For 9th grade writing, don't forget to come back next week to find out what our family subjects or our geography, history, science, those sorts of subjects are going to be for the upcoming school year. So hope to see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.